Bizarre daily rituals of ancient civilizations. Ancient cultures had daily routines that might seem peculiar today. These routines were shaped by their environment, beliefs, and social structures. From hygiene practices to beauty standards, each culture developed unique habits that were integral to their way of life, reflecting their values and understanding of the world around them. The ancient Egyptians were captivated by body hair removal. Both men and women used tweezers, razors, and even sugar-based wax to maintain smooth skin. They believed that a hairless body was a sign of purity and cleanliness, aligning with their emphasis on personal hygiene and aesthetic appeal. Ancient China had some of the most bizarre beauty standards. Small feet were highly prized, leading to the painful practice of foot binding. This process started in early childhood, ensuring that the feet remained tiny and delicate, which was considered a mark of beauty and social status. Roman communal bathrooms were central to their hygiene practices. These public baths were not only places to cleanse the body, but also social hubs where people gathered to relax, discuss politics, and conduct business. The Mayans practiced bloodletting rituals for spiritual reasons. They believed that offering their own blood to the gods would ensure prosperity and balance in the universe. These rituals were often conducted by the elite, using sharp instruments to pierce their skin in sacred ceremonies, demonstrating devotion and reverence. In ancient Greece, olive oil was a staple not just for cooking, but also for personal hygiene. People would slather their bodies with olive oil and then scrape it off using a tool called a strigil, removing dirt and dead skin in the process. This practice left their skin smooth and moisturized. Ancient Indians were pioneers in dental hygiene. They used neem sticks to clean their teeth, a practice still in use today. Chewing on these sticks not only kept their teeth clean, but also promoted oral health due to the antimicrobial properties of neem, ensuring fresh breath and strong gums. In Aztec society, human sacrifices were integral to their religious routines. Victims were often prisoners of war or slaves, and their hearts were offered to the gods. These sacrifices were believed to ensure cosmic order and appease deities, playing a crucial role in maintaining societal and spiritual balance. During Japan's Heian period, blackened teeth were a beauty trend among aristocrats. The practice, known as ohaguro, involved coating teeth with a lacquer made from iron filings and vinegar. This aesthetic choice was considered attractive and also helped to preserve the teeth by preventing decay and strengthening the enamel. The Celts had ritualistic headhunting traditions that were both a spiritual practice and a display of power. Warriors would decapitate their enemies and keep the heads as trophies, believing they possessed the spirit and strength of the fallen. These heads were often displayed prominently or used in religious ceremonies. Viking grooming habits were surprisingly meticulous, with both men and women taking pride in their appearance. They commonly used lice combs made of bone or wood, demonstrating an awareness of hygiene. Personal grooming was an essential part of Viking culture, contradicting modern stereotypes of them as unkempt warriors. In Incan Society, mummification was not reserved solely for royalty, but practiced more broadly. The mummies were often placed in homes or public spaces, believed to possess spiritual significance. This integration into daily life served both religious and social purposes, keeping ancestors close to the living community. Ancient Roman dining customs were extravagant, often involving multiple courses and elaborate preparations. Peculiar eating habits included consuming exotic animals and indulging in feasts that lasted hours. These lavish meals were a symbol of wealth and social status, showcasing the Romans' culinary diversity and their penchant for opulence. Medieval monks adhered to unusual sleep patterns, often waking multiple times during the night for prayer. This segmented sleep schedule was part of their rigorous monastic routine, emphasizing discipline and devotion. Their nightly vigils reflected a spiritual commitment, influencing the way they structured their daily lives around religious observance. Spartan Society's approach to child-rearing was communal, with children taken from their families at a young age to be trained in military camps. This practice aimed to instill discipline, strength, and loyalty to the state. The rigorous upbringing was crucial for maintaining Sparta's formidable military reputation and communal cohesion. Ancient Persians believed in the purifying power of incense baths. They would cleanse their bodies by inhaling fragrant smoke from burning herbs and resins. This practice was not only for hygiene, but also for spiritual purification, creating an aromatic cloud that symbolized the cleansing of both body and soul. Egyptian pharaohs' burial customs were elaborate and intricate. They prepared for the afterlife by constructing grand tombs filled with treasures, food, and personal items. Mummification preserved their bodies, ensuring their safe journey to the afterlife, reflecting their belief in eternal life and the importance of maintaining physical integrity. Medieval European medical practices often bordered on the bizarre. Treatments included bloodletting, where barbers would cut veins to balance bodily humors. Other methods involved the use of herbs, charms, and even astrology. These practices, though primitive and sometimes dangerous, were the best means of healing available at the time. Foot binding in ancient China was a painful and peculiar fashion. Starting from a young age, girls' feet were tightly bound, causing the bones to break and the feet to deform into a small, desirable shape. This practice, though excruciating, was considered a symbol of beauty and status in Chinese society. Mayan ritualistic ball games were intense and often deadly. Players competed with a rubber ball, aiming to pass it through stone hoops without using their hands. The games had deep religious significance, and losing teams or captives were sometimes sacrificed to the gods, highlighting the Mayans' devotion and belief in divine intervention. Ancient Romans had a peculiar cleaning practice involving urine. They used it for laundering clothes and even as a mouthwash. The ammonia in urine was effective in removing stains and whitening fabrics. Public urinals were common, and collected urine was sold to laundries, emphasizing its everyday importance. Greek symposiums were social gatherings characterized by unusual customs. Participants reclined on couches, engaging in philosophical discussions, poetry, and music. Wine drinking was central, often accompanied by playful games and contests. These events, exclusive to men, were a blend of intellectual exchange and hedonistic indulgence, reflecting the social fabric of ancient Greece. Divination in ancient times often involved examining animal entrails. Priests, known as haruspices, interpreted the god's will by inspecting the liver and other organs of sacrificed animals. This practice, prevalent in cultures like the Etruscans and Romans, was a critical means of making important political and military decisions. Seppuku, a ritual suicide, was practiced for honor in ancient Japan. Samurai warriors would perform this act to restore their honor or atone for failures. The ritual was highly ceremonial, involving specific attire and a designated second to decapitate the individual after the initial self-inflicted wound, highlighting the cultural emphasis on honor and duty. Celtic rituals often included the use of human skulls. Skulls of enemies were considered powerful and were displayed as trophies. In some traditions, they were used as drinking vessels or buried in sacred sites. These practices underscored the Celts' belief in the skull's spiritual significance and its role in rituals. The Celts believed that human skulls held extraordinary power, often using them in rituals to honor the fallen or invoke protection. They would display these skulls in prominent places, believing the spirits of the deceased would offer guidance and strength. This practice underscored their view of the head as the seat of the soul. Medieval European royalty had a peculiar diet rich in meats, spices, and sweets, often leading to health issues like gout. Feasts showcased their wealth and power, with elaborate dishes that catered more to opulence than nutrition. Exotic ingredients were imported, emphasizing their ability to command resources from distant lands. The ancient Maya engaged in intricate beauty rituals, including the practice of cranial shaping and dental modifications. They inlaid precious stones into their teeth and flattened infants' foreheads to achieve their ideal of beauty. These practices demonstrated social status and adherence to cultural aesthetics, deeply influencing their societal structures. Leashes were a common tool in medieval medical practices, believed to balance bodily humors by drawing out bad blood. Physicians used them to treat a variety of ailments, from headaches to infections. This reliance on leeches reflected the period's limited understanding of medicine and the body's functions. Vikings had unique burial customs, often involving ship burials where the deceased were placed in boats with their belongings. This practice symbolized their journey to the afterlife. Important figures received elaborate burials, highlighting their status and ensuring they carried their wealth and power into the next world. ancient cultures often practiced head flattening to signify social status or beauty ideals. This was achieved by binding an infant's head between wooden boards or cloth. The elongated skull shapes, seen as prestigious, were prevalent among the Mayans, Incas, and some North American tribes, reflecting their cultural values and societal structures. Contrary to popular myth, Roman vomitoriums weren't places to purge food, but architectural features in amphitheaters. However, their feasting habits were extravagant. Romans indulged in lavish banquets, sometimes overeating to the point of nausea, reflecting their opulence and the societal importance placed on communal dining and entertainment. Medieval knights had distinct hygiene practices shaped by their rigorous lifestyles. Bathing was infrequent due to scarce resources and beliefs about health. Instead, they relied on perfumes and scented oils. Their armor necessitated regular cleaning to prevent rust and wear, highlighting the balance between practicality and the harshness of medieval life. Animal sacrifices were integral to ancient Greek religion, believed to appease gods and ensure prosperity. Rituals often involved elaborate ceremonies and communal feasts. The sacrifices reinforced social bonds and religious devotion, demonstrating the intersection of faith and daily life in ancient Greece and the importance of divine favor. Grooming habits among ancient Celts were surprisingly meticulous. Both men and women used combs made of bone or wood, and warriors often styled their hair with lime to stiffen it. These practices not only reflected personal hygiene, but also social identity and status, emphasizing the cultural significance of appearance and grooming. Samurai warriors adhered to a strict daily regimen that emphasized discipline, combat skills, and mental fortitude. Their mornings often began with sword training, followed by meditation to sharpen their focus. They valued personal grooming and cleanliness, maintaining their armor and weapons meticulously. This routine reinforced their readiness for battle and unwavering loyalty to their lords. Ancient Mesopotamian medicine featured peculiar practices, blending superstition and rudimentary science. Treatments often involved incantations, rituals, and the use of herbs. Priests, who served as healers, believed illnesses were caused by evil spirits. Consequently, medical practices aimed to expel these spirits, demonstrating an early fusion of health and spirituality. Ancient Egyptian beauty routines were elaborate and intriguing. They used natural ingredients like honey and milk for skincare. Both men and women wore makeup, believing it had protective powers. Kohl eyeliner, made from lead salts, was applied to ward off evil spirits. These practices reflected their deep connection to aesthetics and spirituality. Early medieval Europeans had unique sleep habits influenced by seasonal changes and social customs. They practiced segmented sleep, dividing nighttime rest into 2 periods. Between these sleeps, people engaged in various activities, such as prayer or household chores. This biphasic sleep pattern highlights the adaptive nature of human rest across different historical contexts. The peculiar daily routines of ancient cultures offer insights into their values, beliefs, and social structures. These practices, while often bizarre by modern standards, were integral to their way of life. Understanding these routines helps us appreciate the diversity of human history and the evolution of cultural norms across civilizations.